fishing, it's in my soul.
Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
What do we got here?
Fish is on. What's up, guys? Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, here with Captain Peter Deeks and Luke Simons. What do we got here, Deeks?
Oh, it's just a beautiful little mangrove snapper. A little tiny one.
So we got Deeks fishing with live shrimp, or a legit prawn, little guy. And Luke with the power prawn. Luke had a monster trout on earlier.
Yeah.
What happened? What happened there, Luke? Yeah. Don't want to talk about it, but lost the trout. That's all we're gonna say. And we caught a few other snappers, some jacks, and we're doing canal fishing. This is kind of canal fishing. Let's see what you got there, Luke. So that's the Prawn Junior rigged on a little, what, 1/8 ounce? 1/8 ounce.
Yeah, I'll show you what I'm fishing with here.
Yeah, what's Deeks got?
So it is hard to beat the prawn, but we can't fish the same. So I'm using live shrimp, and what I like to do is pinch the tip of the tail off and then hook my shrimp. You can go bottom up or side to side, but hook it down at the very end, keeps it streamlined. We're in some current. I've got 20-pound leader and a little 1/4 ounce split shot. Super simple, catches all kinds of fish. And this little creek and canal here has got sheep's head and black drum and trout and jacks and snapper, all kinds of different fish. So what we're trying to do is focus on the edges of the canal, fishing up under the mangroves. You'll look where there's a tree that's kind of leaning over, and that's what's going to hold the fish. You're not going to find a lot of fish out in the middle. They're going to be closer to the structure. And most of the fish tend to be on the deeper side. So this side over here is the deeper side of the canal. Ooh, lost him. Ooh. Oh, broke me off.
Oh no. Might have been the old blue fish.
But we'll show you on a map in just a minute, but if you look on this side, it's a deeper edge. It's a steeper drop off, and the mangrove trees hang out over into the water, which provides a lot more structure and habitat for the fish. Versus on this side, you've got a shallower descent into the water. So it's a lot shallower against the structure, and eventually it gets deep. But the fish are going to be on the deeper structure side than the shallow side. So if you look at a canal edge and you notice that there's a beach and you can just tell that it's a little bit shallower, it might look like a good area. You might find some shoreline redfish, but the concentrations of fish are going to be on the deeper structure side. And so this is what we're focusing on. And when you cast, you want to look for points. You can see how Luke just threw there. You've got a dead branch that hangs out. Those fish are going to be under the points. You're going to, I tend to be tempted to cast up into these coves, but that's going to be a shallower area with less structure. So if you want to cast just up current of a point that sticks out and let your prawn or your bait drift up under that structure, that's going to get you most of the bites.
And this is about 6 feet deep here in the middle, right?
6 feet in the middle. And then it slowly gets shallower up on the edge, but it's probably 4 or 5 feet deep against this side over here. That's the depth that you want to look for. It's a little colder out today. It's windy, and so we're moving back up into these canals and just working the edge and catching all kinds of fish. So let me get rigged up here real quick.
Yeah, so this is canal fishing 101 on a windy day. We came out and it was windier than we thought it was going to be. We were going to go hit an inlet and say, let's go back here and get a little protection, just like this boat over here is doing next to us. And they're doing the same thing, kind of hitting this deeper area. I believe they have shrimp over there as well. We've seen them pull up a couple nice little snapper. But yeah, you'll find black drum. As soon as we got here, I was doing some casting before I got voted to be the camera guy for the day. And caught some jack, little snappas. Lots of fish down here. I'm betting we'll catch some black drum. Love to see that big 24-inch trout come back up. Luke is going to be obsessing over that all day long. What do we got here? A little Smart fishing spots?
Yeah.
Here, I'll,
So before I get rigged up and get back to fishing, I want to go to the smart fishing spots. And
got text messages coming in.
Hope you guys can see this. Can you see that on there?
Yep.
Okay, so this dot here is where we are. And when you're looking for an area to
and
fish,
it happens to be a smart spot.
you want to look for the deeper canals that connect through. So you don't want to look for a dead end. Let me zoom in here a little bit. As you can see, like this is kind of a dead end cove here. That's not an area that you want to focus on. You want to focus on these little canals that go all the way through. Oop, Luke's on.
Oh, Lukey's on. Lukey's on. What do you got?
A little snap.
Oh man, Dink Award. We'll take it.
1-1.
All right.
Careful.
The prawn. All right. Yeah, a little bit of a glare on
How
there.
about that?
Oh,
I know it's kind of
a little bit
hard.
better.
Just real quick, you can see that it's deeper on this side than this side. You can see the beach and the shallow water. And so you can tell that this is the side you want to focus on. And if you come up here, you can see that it gets a little bit shallower up there, so that's not going to be as good. So picking your spots, focus on these areas where you can see the water's a little deeper and the mangroves and the dead trees hang out over top of it. And we'll keep zooming out. And you can see that there's all kinds of little canals and different areas to fish. I wouldn't fish that. You can see that it's a dead end. But this one here looks really good if we zoom in some. But then again, now that we zoom in, we can see that it has a really shallow edge. So I wouldn't fish that once I get a closer look. But then again, you come look at this one, and you can see that on this edge, let me zoom out a little bit more. Those mangroves stick way out into the water, and it's deeper over there, so that would be a good canal to fish. But you just fish it like we're doing here. We've got the spot lock trolling motor or your anchor, or you can drift, and you'll go down maybe 20 or 30 feet, you'll fish a little bit, and then just keep bumping along, and
cool.
It's a really fun way to catch a lot of fish and have a great time.
Yeah, let me, I'll pull up. I mean, the 1 foot contour lines is a great way. Let me grab that real quick. Is another great way to find where the deeper spots are. So we'll hit 1 foot contour lines. So that's what it looks like, if you guys can see it. Man, this glare is brutal. But once you have these 1 foot contour lines, that will tell you real quickly where the deeper spots are in all these different canals. Really, really cool.
Yeah. And regardless of where you live, this will hold all sorts of types of fish. So in this area here, we're fishing the Indian River. There's going to be black drum, sheep's head, trout, redfish, snook. You name it, it lives in little canals like this, especially when it's windy and cold.
And Luke, you got the Prawn Junior, okay, natural color.
Know it.
And Deeks is going with the shrimps. So we got a new point to try up here now. That's gonna be good. And Deeks, I know we did a whole canal fishing. Hey, we did a whole canal fishing.
Yep. I think I had a big snook on it. Did you see it broke water? Stripping line like crazy. They jumped and that was it.
Oh man.
No. That's called, it's called getting looped.
But remember though, we have a whole canal fishing like mini course that we did a while back. That was really good. That was super helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're an insider member, you have access to it, so go check that out in the course area. But it's called Canal Fishing Mastery or something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it if you just want to go out and have some fun. Take your friends, family, kids out and catch a lot of fish. This isn't about trophy fishing, even though you might catch some big fish. This is about catching a lot of fish. But there are some tips and techniques that are going to help you catch a lot of fish. So it seems very simple, but you can come in here and catch nothing if you're missing some of the key elements. So you watch where Luke's casting. Cast placement is very important. See how he's casting up just up current of the structure that sticks out the farthest from the shore. So that's going to be where most of the fish are going to be sitting. It's that 90-10 zone. And you can waste a lot of time.
Oh. Trying to put on a clinic here, and he's going right back to the same spot. So what are the other biggest mistakes?
You want to fish a shrimp type of lure like the prawn or actual shrimp. You want to avoid the old frozen nasty bait shop shrimp. You want to buy some fresh live shrimp. Make sure they're rigged streamlined, and make sure you have the lightest weight possible to get your bait down on the bottom. So we have quite a bit of current, so we're using a 1/4 ounce. If there was no current, we'd probably use a little bit less of a weight. You want to avoid throwing like a big 1 ounce weight up in there. You want it to just gently drift down to the bottom. You can see how Luke's working this prawn. Very effective, catches every fish that's in here.
Except trout.
Except trout.
Can't bring them in.
But there is a way, a technique to retrieving that prawn or any lure that's going to allow you to catch fish. Where shrimp, you just throw it out there, and it's pretty easy to catch fish with a shrimp. So
Or trees.
Or trees.
Just doing a little pruning, nothing to see here. I get to talk smack, I'm not fishing. It's part of the deal, Luke.
Poor Luke.
I'm muted and get made fun.
Yeah, he can't even talk. He's got no mic.
He's actually doing a lot of talking. We just can't hear him.
He's cursing underneath his breath. I love it. Oh, look at Deeks just getting right underneath that little mangrove line. You know, and we've done something similar. We were up in St. Augustine area. Same deal. Wind was cranking, and we went up in the little creek mouths, and instead of mangrove lines like this, oh, Deeks is on.
Oh, a little tiny one.
Instead of mangrove lines, it was, you know, sawgrass and some areas with some massive oyster bars. Is that water?
Ooh, Luke's on.
Oh, no.
Oh!
Luke's on. Oh, man. Whammy. Got another little snapper.
You got to weed through these small fish, which is still kind of fun. But you will catch some big ones too.
And I don't know if you guys could hear it, but the guy that just passed us that was fishing up here on this next point, he said he had a massive snook on. So there's definitely some big fish back here.
Ooh, big trees too.
Got me excited there.
Me too. Oh, there we go.
Oh, Deeks is off. That's how you do it right there, folks. Luke's now fishing the shallow side. Seeing what he can catch. And are you seeing much bait back in here?
Not much bait.
Okay.
Oof, lost him.
So what are these
there
fish
seems
feeding
to
on?
be.
Or are they just here for protection?
Oh, there'll be protection. There's a lot of food for them, so there will be a lot of shrimp flowing through here, little crabs, minnows, mullet. There is bait, but you're just not seeing it. So it's cold today, so the bait's going to be on the bottom. You can see them on your fish finder. But the key is to look for the deeper water, little canals protected by the wind. Current flow is important, and make sure that that you're kind of fishing that deeper side. And if you put yourself in that situation and you look on your fish finder, you're going to see a lot of bait on the bottom. And so that's where a lot of these fish come in these conditions. Let me grab another shrimp here real quick, Luke.
In general, I know we're in a unique area here specifically, but in different creeks, have you found that a certain tide is better?
It depends on where you live. If you live in an area that has heavy current flow, like Georgia, then you want to be in a creek with just a little bit of current flow. And where I live over here on the Indian River, we don't get much current flow. So you're looking for areas of like heavy current flow. So you can see the water is actually moving in here. But the tide direction doesn't make a big difference. If we were to come into an area on low tide and you notice that there's a beach that comes out from the shore, there's not a steep drop off with structure in the water, then that would just not be a good place even at high water. So you want an area where these trees are always in the water. That's the habitat. And if you were to put a mask on, and like a snorkel mask, and swim way up under those trees, you'll see that the fish go 15 or 20 feet back up in there. And so when you're casting, you're trying to get it as close to those trees as you can and hope those fish come out to eat your bait. But most of the fish are unreachable. And so if you get to an area where you're catching a lot of fish, sometimes you can sit there for a couple hours and keep catching the fish because they'll keep coming out for your bait. And if you're not getting anything, keep moving because you're trying to find that heavy concentration of fish. So we're gonna bump up here in a minute. We haven't caught anything good yet.
And are you just letting it sit?
I'm just letting it sit. Yeah, you can see there's a lot of little mangrove snapper at this particular spot, and they're nibbling on my bait. So I'll do one more cast up here and kind of show you what I do with the shrimp. So fling it up in there, just up current of the structure. It's going to sink down. You can see the fish already nibbling on it. Pull tight, wait for the good bite. Oh, that's a good one. Good ones always get off, don't they, Luke?
Sure do.
Story of my life.
They sure do.
Yeah.
It's okay, Luke. Redemption's coming. That's what Luke always does.
The time you got the 41-inch snook.
Yep. Oh, whoa! Deeks is trying to hit the camera guy.
Hey, we need to edit that out.
Super aggressive. No, there's no edit. These are live, baby. See the good, the bad, the ugly. Deeks got excited on that one. He'd been hanging out with Bill Dance too much.
That was a good hook set. We'll give it one more cast and we'll bump up a little bit. It's hard to get past these little mangrove snappers, so we're gonna have to find an area that's got a little less of them.
But yeah, we were with Deeks, caught a 41-inch snook. I'm talking so much smack, it's towards the end of the day, biggest fish of the day, and what happens?
Luke came in.
Was it 43 or
45?
45?
inch
It's something
snook.
crazy. One of the thickest snook I've ever seen.
Don't talk smack around Luke.
Man.
All right, we're
Either way,
gonna bump
I
up
was
here a little
pleased.
bit.
I was pleased as punch. It's fun to be part of a catch like that. And that was so
That
cool.
was exciting, yeah.
And that was on light tackle. That thing had us going all over the place.
Yeah, that was a big fish. That was cool. We had to chase him around that flat.
All right, so what are we doing now? We're going to move up? So
We're gonna move up, yeah. So we were catching a lot of those little mangrove snapper. I'm sure there were some bigger fish there, but that's all we were getting bites of. We'll move up to the next point.
If you guys are listening, definitely come watch this video. Those Luke.
Oh! Nothing to see here.
About hit me. But if you're listening, watch this so you can get an idea of what it looks like on the water. Because chances are you've probably passed areas like this, creek mouths, both residential. This one, is there any homes anywhere on this little stretch? No? Not on this one in particular? Okay. I know we passed quite a few coming here.
If you look at an aerial map where we're fishing here, we just looked at that Smart Spots map, you'll notice that these are all natural little creeks and canals, but most of them are very shallow on the edges, and this one in particular has a deep edge where the trees overhang.
Oh, Luke's on now.
Oh, nice little trout.
Oh, redemption. No, Snooky. Nice.
Good work, Luke.
And guess where that was? Right here at this point. Just like you said. All right, good job there, Lukey. The prawn strikes again. There we go.
But I want to go back to talking about picking the location so you don't waste a lot of time.
Yeah, look how far back it goes underneath those trees there.
That is what you're looking for. So an area that has a lot of environment and then one area that's a whole lot better than everything else. So if you go back into areas that have a lot of residential docks and a lot of deep canals that are all the same, that's going to spread the fish out and they're not going to be concentrated. You'll have to fish a lot of water to catch a few fish. If you find an area that is a lot better than all of the surrounding areas, then you're going to have that 90-10 zone and you're going to come in here and slay all the fish.
Look at Luke. Ah, he's got the mojo back.
We're going to see
right here on this little point. Little
snook.
Little small snooky. That's cool. The prawn.
Prawn's doing good work today.
Let's see what Deeks can do here in the same
I'm trying
spot.
to get some of those nice black drum, but it's not paying off for me.
You get big drum back here?
Up to like 15 pounds.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're fun. I like the black drum.
Oh. Luke says, oh, I see where you're casting.
You're getting little nibbles.
So we got
little nibblers.
Oh.
That's all right.
Yeah, there must be a bunch of fish hanging underneath this little point.
But we weren't getting very many bites back there, and we just bumped up a little bit, and a whole different world here. But be prepared, because you never know when the next bite's going to be a giant snook or a giant trout or big redfish. So be ready to pull them out of the trees, out of that structure. Sometimes you find yourself getting a little lazy catching these little fish, and then you get the bite of a lifetime and not ready for it, and you'll lose it.
All right, Luke found some hard ground there.
It's coming with me.
Is it a little stung?
7-pound line is reeling in the tree.
What is it?
Oh, it's a nice little stump.
Ooh. Luke's,
Oh, it's
man.
it's the
Heck
whole,
yeah.
it's the whole fish house is coming home.
Dang. We'll have to go place that back where you found it.
That's what all those fish are sitting on.
You can put that on top of your truck, a Christmas tree for next year. Oh, Deeks is on!
Ah, man, I'm just slaying the little snappers.
Whoa. That's impressive.
That's so impressive. Well, what is funny is like spend most of your time targeting really big fish, but man, I have a lot of fun doing this.
Oh yeah.
Action and
That's what most of us want, just tight lines, and nothing worse when you have a day off, you finally get to go fishing, wind's cranking. That can make it tough. But this is always a great backup plan.
And if you're gonna come do this and you're going to get shrimp and not use the prawn, buy a lot of shrimp. You'll go through about 10 dozen shrimp doing this for
10 dozen?
Yeah. So we'll go through about 10 dozen having a fun time with this.
Man, you just love feeding fish.
There's a lot of little fish down there. Feed.
Luke, how many prawn juniors gonna go through?
One.
Just one. Ooh.
Now I wanted to use the prawn, but I was told we have to change it up a little bit here.
We gotta do a versus. Oh, look at Luke! Look at Luke!
Oh, you dirty
man,
little,
the snook slayer.
You dirty little snook slayer.
Talking all that trash.
Look at that, another snook. Is that 3?
Yep.
Man, Deeks, how many snook have you caught?
I don't know, if you added all those snook up though, they might not equal one of my mangrove snappers.
Nice. Yeah, it is very evident that you're going through a lot of shrimp. Look at the size of these prawns down here too. I mean, those are big boys.
Those are real prawns.
We might just put a couple of those on the grill tonight. We don't use them all. You're 10 dozen. Oh, let's see here. And so what next? What are we gonna do after this?
Bump down a little bit further and
Yeah.
see if we can get on another little knot of fish. Let Luke have a couple more casts.
I meant like, let's assume we were gonna try something completely different, not
okay.
canal fishing. Like, what else would you do on a kind of a windy day?
So what we're gonna do next is we have some big live bait. We've got some mullet and some croakers, and we're gonna go and fish some windy sides of islands and see if we can't get some big trout and snook. Now it's a little cold and a little windy, but I think we can get some real big fish here a little bit later. And at least we caught a bunch of fish. If that doesn't pay off.
It's to talk about why the windy side of the islands.
So if you're fishing like this, then you want to be comfortable. You can find areas that are out of the wind. This is the lee side, the calm side. It's a lot more comfortable and pleasant. But if you're targeting big fish, if you're going to catch big fish,
You're talking like trophy fish.
big fish, big trout, big snook, big redfish, they're going to be on the windy side and the calm side. But the calm side, they're much more aware. They tend to be there not to feed, but to sun and relax. If you get on the windy side, the wind-blown side, it's gonna blow bait up there. The only reason a fish is gonna be in that environment is to feed, because they have to be on high alert. If there's a shark coming at them or a dolphin, they're not gonna be able to sense it quite as good. So there's something that's got them there. So if I'm going to be targeting big fish, I wanna fool big fish, I will focus on the windy side because that's where you're gonna get those big fish to bite. You're gonna fool them. They're not gonna sense the presence of your boat or your kayak, or if you're fishing on a dock, it's a little more uncomfortable for you, but you can cast farther, and those fish are there to feed. They're there for a reason. So I find myself fishing those windy sides a lot more than the calm sides.
That's great. That's a great tip. That's worth the price of admission right there.
But that's going to be our game plan. We might mess with some triple tail. Got some good shrimp.
Ooh, that looked like it had a little bit more.
Heavier.
No?
It was a little heavier. I lost him.
Rod tip went. I'm
gonna get Luke out of the little Luke zone. He's making me look bad.
There he is. Looks like I'm filming my own video over here. Need you punks. And so, Luke, why did you go with the open jig head there? Is that the?
That's what I had rigged on.
Oh, okay.
That's a good cast right there. This should do it.
Luke's calling his shots. Was a pretty money cast. It deserves a strike.
Oh!
Man.
We had to get him out of his zone.
Yep. Oh, Lukey. Yeah, look how far back that water goes underneath that.
Yeah, I'll fish that one next.
That tree line.
But as simple as this type of fishing is, it seems like you can't really go wrong. But this really is that like that 90-10 zone. So you're looking for areas that have a deeper edge. Use your smart fishing spots out. And
that 1 foot contour lines, like that's so helpful.
Yeah.
That we have, and even half foot contour lines, you can, in one button, you can see exactly where the deep spots are.
So do a little homework, map out, a couple, 4 or 5 places that you want to fish the next day, so you're not out here just kind of unprepared. And just fish how we're fishing here. You bump down, catch a bunch of little fish, catch nothing, and then the next spot, you're gonna catch a couple of big fish.
All right, let's see you catch one more.
All right, we're gonna.
And there's another guy up there on that next point in a pontoon boat. So don't think that you have to have a fancy yellowfin to do this.
No, I grew up fishing this way in my little John boats and my kayaks and canoes.
Yeah, the guy before, he was anchored up. He didn't have a nice trolling motor. He was sitting there.
Anchor works just as great. If you have a push pole, just stick your push pole down in the mud and tie off to that. You can be creative. You don't need a fancy trolling motor. If you see an area, if you're looking for black drum, areas that have a big, like an Australian pine tree or big oak tree that has fallen down into the water, that'll be a really good area that usually holds them pretty good. There isn't one here, but.
It's got to be Australian pine, though, huh?
They like those Australian pines. They really do.
I wonder why. That's the ticket, though, huh? Find some
cover. You're looking for fish cover.
Trees that are down. And in that case, you might want to use the Haas football and go weedless. So we're not losing luas and jigs. All right, is that it right there?
I don't know, I can't really get it in
Oh,
there.
Luke. Another advantage of the prawn. I like to see the twitch over here. That might work pretty well. Skipping that sucker underneath here. This area looks great.
It's not producing though.
You gotta stay out of the trees, dude.
I know. Turn that camera the other way real quick. My weight's a little too big to skip.
Luke, you're not getting any strikes either?
Not in a little while.
And I would have bet.
Yeah.
You pull it down my spot.
But see how it looks good? And then nothing.
Yeah.
So just keep moving down. Don't be married to.
Ooh, I saw that. I saw that one.
I think it's a little
Something
mangoes
got
eating
you.
me up.
They're definitely down there. Canal fishing 101. Do it with shrimp or the prawn. And we had Dr. Juice saltwater slam on there too. Kind of a given, but we always have to say it. And we're gonna do some videos on that, just the education of that. Chat with some people recently, like, oh yeah, we tried it, and it just didn't stay on very long because it's a liquid. So I think, and I heard the whole story that Procure, when it first came out, was just like that way back in the day, and they realized that even though you could smell it and it was working, they're like, we got to change this formula just to basically fool anglers into believing that it's still on the lure. That's why it's like a physical hard goo.
Yeah.
And the irony is this Dr. Juice stuff stays on a whole lot longer as a liquid because it's bonding to the plastic or whatever you're using. And remember, fish can smell like 10 to 100 times better than a human, depending on the fish.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
And if you can still smell it on your lure, that means the fish can smell it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that Dr. Juice, man, you get it on your clothes, you're smelling it for a week.
I definitely notice a difference putting Dr. Juice on and not.
Well, you've had a couple of your captain buddies who were kind of like rolling their eyes at it, and they started using it, and they're like, wait a minute, that...
Yeah, spoon, power prawn, slam shady. I mean, put it on everything. But what happens is you'll get a fish that's trailing that lure, like a redfish. You know, a snook and a trout, a lot of times they're gonna bite it really quick, but some fish, they'll follow it. And if you don't have a good smell, they're not gonna eat that lure.
Yeah. So what do we do now? We're going back to
I'm gonna go back as we keep bumping up here and we're just not getting the bites. It gets a little bit shallower. So
we got Luke back in his snook zone coming up.
Give it a couple more minutes here and then we'll probably move on. Got to find some bigger and better fish, but this is really fun.
The 90-10 zone. It's crazy how accurate it is.
I'm gonna go slat in the back here.
Is this where you were catching those snook earlier, Luke, right? Right in that little spot? A little overhang right there. Well, at least the sun's out, gents.
Yeah, it's nice now.
Yeah,
Come on, Luke.
got out of the truck this morning. I was like, this is chilly and windy. Oh, Deeks.
Hey, let's go up front. I want to try something real quick.
Okay.
So it's warming up, and Luke was getting a lot of snook out of that little edge. And I think they're suspended up a little higher off the bottom. So I'm going to take the weight off, free line a live shrimp up there.
Huh.
See if that nails to something really good.
All right.
That's the real prawn.
That thing is a beast.
Oh shoot, had to get in there before Luke did. All right, come on, little prawn.
Oh, that was just dirty. So I can see it there. It's just
He's probably gonna come flying up to the surface here in a second.
gliding down. You
Oh,
already
lost him. All right, he's gonna eat it again here.
Man. Let me get up here so we can get the full vantage.
All right, little shrimp, you still got a little life left in you.
And so he's just letting it slide right underneath that tree. Come on, Snooky. There it is. Oh, man. That was pretty cool. Oh, Luke,
If you
Luke's
turn
on.
that camera off, maybe we'll get some better fish here.
Lukey's on. Little snapper.
Little snap daddy.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, that's a heck of a cast there. That deserves a strike. All right, see if you can pull a big one out of there. Free lining the shrimp. Oh, come on. It's going right in the...
He's drifting in the right zone. isn't he?
Right in the zone.
Come on, shrimp. Oh, he swam to the top.
Smart guy.
He's a smart guy. All right, shrimp, come on.
Ooh. That deserves a strike there.
Look at him on the top. Can you see him?
Oh,
He
yeah.
won't go down. Come on, shrimp, you gotta slim down a little bit. Oof. Oh no.
Oh no. The triple wrap?
Quadruple. That's all right.
All right, we'll end it on that one.
Ended on that one.
Well, as you guys can see, canal fishing, ton of fun. Lots of tight lines.
Lots of tight lines, super fun.
Quite a few different species.
Lots of species. You catch a slam back here, and we're gonna stay at it. I'm sure we're gonna catch a lot of fish and catch some big ones here too. So,
man, if you want more of this and you're an insider member, go to the courses area and you'll have access to the canal fishing one.
Yeah, it's a good little course.
It's great.
I recommend it.
And we do residential canals, docks, so it's in some of this as well, but it's super helpful. And there's a lot of it you can do on foot too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, oh, I don't have a boat, I don't have a kayak. That canal fishing is perfect. So many of those are residential canals, little areas that, I mean, you did the one that you found it on foot.
That's it. The tips and tricks, that all applies. And it's just a great way to catch a lot of fish, catch some big ones. And if you stay at it all day, you're going to catch a lot of fish. Oh, yeah. Regardless of where you live.
Yep. Cool.
Cool.
Well, comment down below if you have any questions. Otherwise, join us in the club. Whoop, whoop. Saltron.com.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul. It was past that.